Hi everyone, I'm here with an empowering woman today, and we are going to start the series off by telling you about her story and how she became the confident woman she is today. So Jill, take it away. Let's hear about your story and where you're at right now.
So I'm 23 years old and I just graduated from Western Connecticut State University with a Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Musical Theater. Wow. And I am a certified yoga teacher and also a singer-songwriter, and I'm releasing an album coming out in the fall.
Wow, that is a mouthful.
Yes.
Okay, so where to even begin with that, right?
So many, I do so many different things, but I want all of those things in my life. Everyone's always like, oh, you need to focus on just one thing. But I'm like, no, there are all these things. I feel like they just mesh so beautifully together for me and fulfill me.
Identified Grace, which is my business, talks about empowering women, but in a new, unique way, teaching you to be graceful with your own voice, to stand up for yourself. You can really activate who you are and everything, and that starts with your voice, starts when you're in the room. So let's just dive right into it. What's your experience with that?
So growing up, I had a lot of anxiety. So much anxiety. I missed a lot of school when I was little because I'd have these stomach aches. And looking back, it was because I was so anxious. Wow. And it wasn't until I was probably around 18 that I really, truly began to heal. Because of my anxiety, I felt like I didn't really use my voice. I did use my voice when I would sing on stage, and that's where I would come alive. But when I was off stage, often I felt very quiet and very shy and insecure in a lot of different ways and didn't know how to express myself. But then once I was 18 and I started to find my voice, I began to do yoga. Okay. And that's where I truly, it totally changed my whole perspective on how to use my voice in a totally different way than singing, because that's how I'd always been able to really express myself. Right. And by becoming a yoga teacher, that helped me find my voice in a whole new way. And also with my songwriting, every word that I write, I feel like it empowers me, and I want it to empower other women. So now, being 23 years old, I feel like I've really found my voice. I'm continuing to strengthen it.
Right. You can always grow.
To speak my truth. But I definitely feel like I'm at a place where I'm really proud of how far I've come. From being so anxious to just living in my own light and sharing that. So growing up, I did competitions. I did singing competitions. I did dance competitions. My whole life felt like a competition. And it's so difficult, especially as women, because we're naturally, I think our world, our society pits us against each other. And just growing up in this competitive environment, it really just took a toll on me. And it still affects me to this day. Like, I'll find myself comparing myself to other people a lot. And it's hard, and especially when you're in, whatever field that you're comparing yourself, but especially when you're in the music world and the theater world. And now I've learned that by uplifting others and uplifting them, especially in their success and whatnot, I feel so much better. Right. When I'm supporting others truly, and I feel that support from them that much more, and I know that I'm my only competition. No one else is my competition. Thinking back to when I was younger, I was so insecure with myself, and I didn't know truly how to love myself and accept myself. So giving advice to younger girls, I would say every single day, find the things that you really love about yourself and embrace them. Every little thing that you don't like about yourself, really learn how to love it. And I know it's so hard to just say that.
It is, it's so hard.
But truly, love who you are, every part of yourself, every little quirk that you're like, I wish I wasn't like that. Right. Love it, and just be kind to yourself and compassionate with yourself. I was so hard on myself. I was so hard on myself. I ended up taking a gap year before I went to college.
Okay, that's really neat.
Yeah, thank you. It was just, I I, number one, didn't know what I wanted to go to school for, which everyone was like, oh, you're going to go for theater, right? I wasn't sure. And so I took a year off, and I focused on my health. I focused on working with my anxiety, like actually understanding it. Like, I know this sounds not weird, but I became friends with my anxiety, and that's when I found yoga. I remember I went on YouTube, and there's this YouTube channel called Yoga with Adriene. She's amazing. She's also an actress, but yoga teacher.
Interesting.
And you have to look her up. She's incredible. And I started following along with her online classes, and I fell in love with yoga. And then I just practiced every single day, and if I went a day without it, I felt really weird, and I was like, okay, I need this in my life. It makes me feel better. And then I started looking at teacher training programs, and I was like, I'm gonna do this. Oh yeah, it's completely changed my life. I remember the very first day I was in teacher training, my teacher, we were meditating, and she goes, okay, so we're gonna imagine a lotus flower, and I want you to imagine the lotus, and the lotus comes out of the water like through the mud, it like rises through the mud. It has to go through the mud. It has to go through all the hard times to rise to the surface. And I love this, the symbolism and the meaning of the lotus. But so we're meditating, and she's like, okay, so I want you all to imagine the mud is settling. The mud is settling. And I almost started crying. I was like, it's not settling. I'm freaked out. I was so scared to do something different, because all I'd ever known my whole life was theater, singing, dancing, acting. It was crazy. I just knew. I was like, I need this in my life. And the mud did settle eventually.
That's great.
By the end of training. And I couldn't be happier that I became a yoga teacher, because it completely transformed the way that I think about myself. I really, truly figured out what it means to love yourself. And it's a journey every single day. I'm able to appreciate others that much more and support others that much more, because I was able to take care of myself and love myself first, so that way I can love others that much more. My family was extremely supportive of me, but some of my friends were not.
Interesting.
And yes. Some of my friends, they're just so like, you should just be doing theater. Why are you trying this? That doesn't make sense. Don't you want to be a theater artist? And it was so hard to navigate through that time, because the negative often outweighs the positive. No matter how many positive affirmations and support we're getting from others, if there's even just one person that's not supporting you, you focus in on that, which is so hard. It's like
so hard.
And you just focus in on it so much, to the point where you almost don't want to even do what you want to do, just because of one or two people's opinions, which is crazy.
Right.
But I really had to sit with myself and be like, what do I want? What does this person want? What do I want?
It's your life.
Exactly. And that's still a question I ask myself every day, because there are people's opinions everywhere. At this very moment, I feel the calling and the drive to pursue my career as a singer-songwriter and get my music out there. And I've always written music and recorded and whatnot, but even so, I feel opinions and judgments of like, well, why aren't you moving to New York and being a theater artist right away? Why aren't you doing that? But I feel the different calling at this moment, and I have to trust that it's my life. When I was really little, I used to write in my diaries song lyrics. So it's always kind of been a thing that I've been interested in. But then when I was 13 years old, I did a singing competition. See, everything's competition. And I did a singing competition. I ended up winning the competition.
Awesome.
And the prize was that you got to go and record at a professional recording studio.
That's incredible.
That's when I got the bug of wanting to do this. And so I went and I started writing original songs there, and they were teaching me how to write music and the structure of a song. And then I did that all the way up until I was like 16 or 17. And then I stopped doing competitions altogether, dance competitions, singing competitions, and I started doing theater in high school. But I was still writing music. And then when I was 18, I came out with an EP, and it's on SoundCloud, but it's a totally different vibe from what I do now.
Really?
Totally different. And also, something interesting, going back to activating your voice, I really didn't share my music at all. When I released it when I was 18, I kept it like hidden. we talked about, everyone was like, oh, you're going to go to school for theater. But I considered going to school for singing, like just singing, or being a singer-songwriter at a school where I'd be writing music and stuff. But I didn't really venture into that. I was like, I'm just going to do theater. But then all through school, something just didn't feel 100% right, and I could feel it in my heart. And I had the melody, the first 2 lines of Cycles, "The man in the moon, you're following me," stuck in my head since I was 16.
Wow.
And it was wild. Like those 2 lines were stuck in my head since I was 16. Just those 2 lines.
That is incredible.
Isn't it wild? It stuck with me all that time. And so then I called up my best friend one night. Hey, Amy. And I was like, hey, help me write this song. This is what I want to say. This is what I want to express. How can I say that? And we wrote the lyrics in one night. And then the next day, I went into a practice room at my school, and I sat at the piano, and I wrote the melody to Cycles. And I just knew. I was like, okay, this is the one I want to share with the world. Like, I really want to share this. And I recorded it within a month of writing it, and we got a bunch of beautiful musicians together who are also wonderfully talented and down to earth. And then we made the music video, and everyone who worked on the music video was between the ages of, I believe, 19 and 24.
Man in the moon, you're following me, watching over the tides, the sea.
I can't even believe all that happened within just a few months.
Yeah.
Just having this vision and this dream. Yeah. And now Cycles is out in the world, and there's 11 other songs that are coming out.
11. Wow, I'm excited for that. I mean, I'm sure everybody else is. That's amazing. And to think all that you've been through to get to this point, you know, you probably would have never believed it if you knew that this was going to happen.
No. And now that I have Cycles out there, all I want to do is get more music out there and start sharing that, like truly sharing that, not being afraid to share.
Right.
Yeah, because my music is things I've experienced, so it's kind of scary to put that out there.
Right.
But at the same time, I want people to be inspired, and I want my music to help other people.
Right.
It's very, very tricky. I remember the night that I was going to release Cycles, it was like a midnight release.
Yeah.
I was so excited, but also terrified. Yeah. But this was the first time in my life that I was like, you know what, if people don't like it, that's okay, because I love it. And that was my first time that I ever had that confidence to say something like that, where I used to rely so much on other people's opinions from the competitions being judged.
Right.
And so I always was waiting for other people's approval to do something, to take the next step. But I was ready to accept whatever way it would go. If it was a failure, I was ready to accept it. If it was a huge success, which it ended up being a really great success. And I'm so grateful for that. And I was just ready to accept whatever was going to happen. And that was my first time where I felt like I was just like letting go in a way. I wasn't like gripping on to what was going to happen.
Right.
And so that's what I've learned with failure in your life. What matters is that you embrace it and you learn from it and you keep moving forward.
Right.
Failure is terrifying to think of failing, but you got to fail to move forward. I think failure is like inevitable in many different ways. We're gonna fall down. Yeah, we're going to fall down.
We need to let it just drive us to continue.
Yeah.
You know, if you're comparing someone else, then you're just going to see that failure as a negativity, you know? But if you're comparing yourself in a way of saying, you know what, this person might sound this way and I sound this way, but we're just two different people with two different kinds of voices. Yeah. People like different genres, and I'm not going to let that type of negative comparison bring me down.
No.
But if you compare in a positive way or say, hey, this person is also really talented, maybe I can connect with them.
It just changes our world when we connect with people instead of letting someone else's talent or someone else's gifts threaten us. Look at another person as like, wow, like they inspire me so much, and how can I connect with them?
Right.
That instead of like changing the narrative in your head, instead of seeing another person as a threat, seeing them as like an inspiration, and it just makes our world a better place.
Turn your threats into inspiration.
Yes,
yes. Like really though, it really can help, and like bring the world closer, or at least if we want to talk more small terms, bring a school together. You know, if there's kids who, instead of being jealous of each other, like work together, build each other up.
Yes, imagine if we all, like everyone, truly built each other up.
Like, what an amazing world that would be, right?
I know. No, everyone would feel supported. Everyone would feel loved and heard and truly, like,
understood.
Seen. Yes. And, it's just, we need more people to uplift other people.
I know.
And I believe everything happens for a reason. And
me too.
Growing up with all the competition and comparison, that'll happen for a reason, so that way I can help other people to not feel that way,
right.
To not compare, to embrace your own unique journey, and what makes you powerful and what makes you amazing. Yeah, I really think that's why I went through all that and went on all these different paths where people weren't supporting me when I really wanted to go this way, but everyone's like, no, you should go this way.
Yeah.
You know, so that's where I found my power and found my voice.
Thank you, Jill, for coming on here. I'm so excited to share your story with everybody else who's watching, and I think your words were so powerful and can influence so many people, so please hold on to what she said and, you know, encourage her with her music to activate her voice as much as we're all activating our voices in our ways. You are activating your voice by coming out with new songs, sharing your deepest trials and tribulations that you've uncovered. So I can't wait to see more of it. And thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, no problem. And with that, we will see you next time with another Empowering Women series. Bye.